I want to know why. Why did he do this to her? I mean, I can't imagine anybody doing that, just killing somebody. I mean, he didn't even know her.
Those are questions for Savannah Spurlock's alleged killer. Spurlock and a friend went out to a bar on the night of January 3rd, 2019. The friend made it home. Spurlock, a mother of 4, did not. Around 2:30 a.m., Spurlock was seen on surveillance video leaving the bar with 3 men, including a man named David Sparks. Not long after, Spurlock had a conversation with her mother. At the time, her mom thought she was intoxicated, but not in distress. Spurlock was never seen or heard from again.
Somebody knows something. Somebody, they'll mess up sooner or later. We'll find out what happened to her. I know it. I know we will.
7 months after Spurlock disappeared, a break in the case. David Sparks' father noticed a foul odor on their property. That odor led police to make this grim discovery.
As a result of the autopsy, we can now confirm that the remains are those of Savannah Spurlock.
It was devastating news to the family.
There are days where it's very, very difficult to not break down, and I have had times throughout these days that I do, because I miss her. I know now that I will never see her on this earth.
Sparks maintains his innocence and is being held without bond, pending his trial on murder charges.
There's going to be so many people that have expressed their interest to go to these court proceedings. People that didn't really even know her, that are just supporting us, want justice served.
And the huge break, obviously, right? Finding Savannah Spurlock and where they found her. Let's bring in Julie Grant to learn a little bit more about this case. Let's start first. Folks, followed the case when she went missing. A lot of people did. When is his next court appearance, and how close are we to a trial here?
Right. So we're going to find out on the next court date, Vinny. It's set for July 17th, and there have been several delays for this status hearing. So at this hearing, we're going to get a better idea as to whether or not he's going to want to go to trial, or whether he is, potentially, who knows, going to enter a plea. My guess is it's going to be he's going to want to fight this, because he's maintained his innocence, according to investigators who've testified at previous hearings. He claims that she was at his home that night she disappeared, stayed till the morning, and then left. And that was the last time he says he saw her, according to testimony that was entered in another hearing that happened last summer. So we shall see. But July 17th, and because of the coronavirus, there have been several postponements in the defense and the prosecution have agreed. They've agreed to allow more time to comb through the evidence and to allow things to kind of play out. But of course, we're going to be watching this very, very closely next month when he goes.
Obviously, they're going to need some evidence, right? And it starts with the autopsy. Have the autopsy results been released in this case?
No, that's really a puzzling thing, Vinny. Authorities have not released the cause and the manner of death here, and the family has been talking about this. They created a Facebook page in Savannah's honor, and one of the posts, they talk about how the autopsy results, the cause of death, have not been released. They talk about how police have not charged anyone else at this point. They don't know if anyone else who was seen with her that night, as we shared with you in the piece, there were other men that she was seen leaving that bar with. But to everyone's knowledge, no one has been charged. But the family isn't clear whether or not these men have been cleared, so to speak. So very odd, and perhaps we'll know a little more at that July 17th hearing as to just how Savannah Spurlock was killed.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult for the family. Sometimes they like to give them the heads up ahead of time, kind of ease them into it. But when they find out in a courtroom, that is sometimes utterly devastating.
Sure.
So her remains were found on the property that belongs to Sparks' father, right?
Correct.
Did they search and find anything else there?
That's a great question. They did 2 really big things. So one of them, a rug, a gray accent rug that was buried with Savannah Spurlock's body. Now, that rug is believed to have come from David Sparks' bedroom. And what police have testified to is that on January 5th, so this would have been like later that day, she went out the night of the 4th. So on the 5th, Apparently, Sparks sent a text to his sister asking her where she purchased that rug. And then he was later spotted on surveillance footage at a Walmart purchasing a rug that looked very similar to the one that was found with Spurlock's body. The other thing, in addition to the rug, they also found a bloody smudge on Sparks's bedroom closet door. And they were able to test that blood, and they were able to find that blood on that closet in David Sparks' home matched Savannah Spurlock's DNA. So those are two very key pieces of evidence. Vinny, they were already discussed in testimony that's been introduced into the record at a previous hearing. And perhaps these will weigh in at that status conference when we see if he wants to go to trial or perhaps enter a plea.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like some powerful circumstantial evidence there. Powerful.
Yes.
You kind of put everything together, it starts to make sense. Julie Grant, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it. This is another one of the cases, folks, that we are tracking here on Court TV.